Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Tuesday. Glad you're here. Today's Red Mic message is about the new shiny penny. I read an article recently about a guy who said that he had been loyal to T-Mobile for 10 years, but finally left because the value just wasn't there anymore. Between fees and plan changes and upcharges and outages, perks that sounded better than they really were, and because he noticed the new people were getting better deals than he ever had, he eventually moved to another provider because he could basically get the same service for a lot less money. They were like, hey, welcome. We'll take you. I understand every word of that story. I was a T-Mobile customer for more than 20 years. Not 2 years, not 20 months, more than 20 years. I went back all the way to when they were still voice stream. That's not just a customer history. That is a long-term relationship. 2 decades of paid bills, upgrading phones, fees, auto payments, customer service calls survived. And somewhere in a database, my account ought to have had a note that said, this guy has been here since flip phones were actually socially acceptable. But eventually, AT&T made me an offer I couldn't refuse. They paired wireless with internet and fiber, and the math made a whole lot of sense, and I left. Now, it's about 18 months later, AT&T is offering new fiber customers a price that's $25 a month cheaper than I've ever paid. And there's the rub. Different company, same game. Because the truth is, these companies do not care about loyal customers nearly as much as they care about new customers. They want that new shiny penny. They want the person walking in the door, not the person who's been sitting at the table for years. Now, once you're in, once you've bundled everything and set up auto pay, you become predictable. And predictable customers are easy to ignore. It's not just a cell phone problem, though. It's an organizational problem because a lot of businesses do this. A lot of institutions do this. Sadly, a lot of leaders do this. They spend their energy recruiting new people while taking the old ones for granted. They chase new customers and ignore the customers who made them successful. They court new employees and forget the people who stayed late, carried the load, trained the new people, and kept the doors open. They celebrate the person they are trying to win over, and they overlook the person who has already proven their commitment. That's a huge mistake. Loyalty may be quiet, but it's not worthless. The customer who keeps coming back really matters a lot. The employee who does the job without drama matters. The volunteer who's been there for years matters. The friend who checks in when there's nothing in it for them matters. Too often, though, loyalty gets treated like background noise. We only notice it when it stops. That's when the company suddenly offers a discount. The boss suddenly asks, what happened? The organization suddenly realizes the person they ignored was holding more together than anyone understood. And by then, it's often too late. You don't need to spend your time trying to win over the kid who is not bought in while neglecting the kid who's been giving you everything he has. Yes, you coach the entire team. You try to reach everybody, but you better not forget the player who is already doing the work. Because if you only reward attention seeking, you will get more attention seeking. If you only reward the threat to leave, you will train people to threaten to leave. If you only value the new shiny penny, you're going to teach your loyal people that loyalty is just a bad bargain. Once people learn that lesson, they don't forget it. I'm not saying companies can't offer introductory deals. I understand competition. I understand marketing. I understand customer acquisition. But you can't sacrifice customer retention for any of those. There's got to be some room for common sense. If somebody's been with you for 5, 10, 20 years, they shouldn't have to pretend to be a stranger to get the best price. Maybe they should not have to leave and come back to be valued. I think loyalty should be rewarded before it turns into frustration. That's true in business. It's true in life. Do not take the steady people for granted just because they're steady and they're always there. Don't overlook the people who don't complain. Don't ignore the person who keeps showing up. And don't save your best offer, your best word, your best attention, or your best appreciation for the people who haven't really even earned it yet. Because sometimes the most important person in the room is not the new shiny penny. Sometimes it's that old faded dime that's been in your pocket the whole time. So remember, loyalty has value, even if it's quiet. People notice when new arrivals are treated better than the ones who stayed. If you want commitment, you have to honor commitment. Don't wait until somebody's walking out the door to remember what they were worth. That's today's Red Mike message. Hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope you're able to use some of these things in place in your own life. I'd very much appreciate a like, a follow, and a share. And by the way, some people were asking if I had heard anything back from Google about Google Pay, Google Wallet, and the trouble I was having. Not a word. So I'm probably going to reach out one more time just to see if I can get anywhere. But to be honest with you, I don't expect it. And in that case, I will just stop using Google Pay completely. So I don't know if they get a kickback. I'm sorry. I don't know if they get a percentage of what goes through their portal or not. But if they're not going to stand behind what they do, I've got no use for them. Maybe that's another Red Mike message. We'll see. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But until next time, don't forget, as always, life is short. Drink the bourbon.